Hey guys, okay, so we are told that we are very powerful beings, and we are also told that we are the supernatural. Now, we are just leaving an era of Confederate rulings where people thought that, paying taxes were normal. People thought that, um, well, the reason why I say paying taxes, people thought it was normal because um, when someone says that you can make, let's say for instance, $15 an hour, and you don't get $15 an hour when you add everything up because they take out taxes, then something is wrong with that, and they have normalized that. Um, so just getting everything that we deserve, that we were promised to get, that we made an agreement to, you know, it's also been manipulated because they also allowed us to agree with signing documents that said that we will pay them taxes after this. So that's another thing. Um, Another thing about us being a supernatural is that we're coming out of, well, another thing to let you all know that we are coming up out of a Confederate system, which is all over now, and some things are still slightly pulling out of the whole entire system, which were, enslaved type of rulings. Um, Working, for instance, like I made a video before, people who work. We got something right here. People who work on who work for different companies and organizations, and they stand on their feet for hours all day every day, and they make little money, they get less sleep, and we all know that our bodies need help. It needs good health, and it needs to be eating the right foods. The Confederate system has, this is all the Confederate system now. The reason why I say Confederate system is because it is everything that's in law goes back to a building that has a statue in front of it. And that statue represents either as a Confederate soldier or um, a Confederate lawyer, and anything that has to deal with the old laws, Confederate. Anything that's newer, up to date, like the NAACP, is not really Confederate, but are so they are separate from the Confederate system, but the Confederate system allows them to have limitations on what to do because it's under Confederate law. So now the NAACP has expanded, and they're their own. They've always been their own, but they've always been a part of a system that was supporting them, but limited what they were able to do. Because if they allowed the NAACP, if the Confederate system had allowed the NAACP to do certain things that was going to enhance their business, there would be less problems, because the Confederate would be nowhere around to, try to stop, the movement of the NAACP to protect the lives of African Americans and of colored people. Um, but now, because there's a new world and a new order, the Confederate system has left, and they are slowly taking things out. We're quickly taking things out now more than ever, and it was because of it wasn't because of a pandemic. It took a pandemic for this to happen, and I'm so thankful because no matter what color you are, I'm pretty sure everyone wants to live in peace and not be enslaved. And I'm pretty sure that everyone wants their money, that they work hard for, and I'm pretty sure everyone wants their own land so that they can, be in their own space and have their own privacy. And I'm pretty sure that people want, the money that they work for and not be taxed for it. And the taxes were just an added bonus, for the Confederate lawyers' pockets and people who were collecting um, money from businesses who owned businesses that were bigger than African Americans' businesses and things like that. So it made it hard for people who weren't Caucasian or were tied to the Confederate to a Confederate family, it made it hard for them to make a living because of the skin color. Um, so I wanted to make sure that people know that there is more than just what we are normalized to think is available. We are the supernatural, and we are able to see the power that we have. We are able to see more of what we're capable of doing now. Before the pandemic, before the civil rights movement, people who are African Americans were owning their own businesses and banks and things like that. But a lot of things were very limited. And as the world has increased in age, it has gotten better for people of color to own more businesses, become their own bosses, and have their own banks and their own schools and things like that. And that was a very big deal breaker. And now in 2021, and a little bit before 2021, people were way more advanced um, at doing things that were considered righteous within the Confederate system. Now we are getting out of that and we're doing things more righteous within our own system and building ourselves the best way that we can. Um, and a lot of information that we were told and taught in school or just in general wherever we were, some things were limited, and now things are being exposed and people are starting to know their true history and what they were capable and are capable of doing still today. And because we are the supernatural, it's almost like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Well, I can't say what are we gonna do. I can, but it's almost like what's already happening. Okay, so big banks are certain Navy banks and things like that are are starting to basically become defunded. They are coming down. Um, Things that shouldn't be happening that I'm pretty sure it's not going to continue in the future because Jesus is here and this is the revelations. This is where the new world starts. So anything that has to deal with um, paying taxes, it's gonna be gone. I'm sorry, it's gonna be gone. Um, Paying for school loans and paying for um, you know things that people had owed the government for. Um, it's gonna be gone. And people are still currently paying the debt and things like that. But when you look at the system, you look at how wrongly we were, or some of us were um, educated about the theft that what that happened within the government. Um, Paying for school for free knowledge, no. Okay, they are taking that out. Paying for things that were given to you as like a Pell Grant, you know, people still find out that had to find out that they were actually being taxed from a Pell Grant. It's almost like they have it and they're giving it to you, so they have it to give to you for free, okay, because you're going to use it and you're going to use all of it. And if you don't have it to pay it back, if you don't have the money to pay it back, then we're going to still go on with our business because we're still rich. But we still want you to pay us back, even though we got everything taken care of. And now certain banks and certain schools and businesses are being exposed, and the monies that they had robbed us from the beginning, from things that could have just been given to us, like a free education. We shouldn't have to pay for that. They should be thankful that we want to use our time and our bodies to even study for something, to work for your system. that's going to enslave us for years, and we're not going to even get a chance to see our bigger money until we retire and get a check every single month or every single week or every 2 weeks for retirement, and we haven't even got a chance to explore this world because we was in your system working all day every day, you know. And that is now coming down. So we are the supernatural. We should be thinking about doing things like that and taking down the bigger businesses. But I can't say that we should be doing that because it's already happening. You know, everything that's Confederate is already happening. We don't have to do anything. You know, when Jesus said he was going to come back, he was talking about that. That was the enslavement that was causing people to not understand and know the gospel. That was causing it right there. Everything else to do constantly was covering up the things we should have been focusing on constantly, and we would have been healed by it. But see, we're focusing on something that we're doing constantly, like that's enslaving us over and over, and we're not getting healed from it. You know, if we do everything that's righteous that the gospel says that we should do, then we were healed from it. You know, having a slaughterhouse to kill animals and we intake and consume those animals inside of our body and digest it, you know, and then go to work every day and work and stand on our feet and don't get our sleep and the rest that our body needs. We're tired, no encouragement. We have to go to work, we go to church on Sunday, but we need to sleep and things like that. The little money that we have, we're stressing, that's causing health to go bad and things like that. You see, versus we focus on that and we enslave ourselves. But we should have been focusing on eating natural foods, finding our talent and our skills and getting paid for it. That should be the norm. Going to work and not having your skills and your talent into something that you want, but doing it for something that they want to benefit them, and having that as the norm, that is not going to do anything. Some people were protected because they still had a godly structure within them to perform these tasks. But God wants you to have these structured godly tasks to perform within yourself and do other things relatable to the gospel in order to enhance your growth and to be a better person and to prosper, but not engage into an enslaved environment. Now, some people will hear me and or had heard me. They should all be waking up now. More people are starting to wake up, and they were realizing that, you know, whenever they heard someone talk about or hear anything that I say about, you know, that's in slavery and we're not supposed to be doing that every day, people would say, well, how are we going to pay our bills? You're crazy. You have to go to work. You have to do this and you have to do that. And I'm like, yes, but do this and do that is referred to something else that God wants to do. Not that. Everything that you're used to doing is Confederate. I'm sorry to say it, it is. Um, Now, YouTube is pretty much almost Confederate in a way, but they're coming up out of it because everything that's Confederate is leaving. So they're giving the people a chance of color to have a chance, you know, and they're giving the old system a newer structure. They're reinventing everything. And why I said it was Confederate is because look how long you have to put your information and look how many times you have to copy and imitate someone else or the way that the system wants you to do it to expose yourself on a video or to put something on a video that's going to allow someone to watch a video. Look how much you have to do, and look how much you will have to, they will expose your channel to certain people in order for you to be seen and get monetized so you won't have to go back to work anymore. Look how much you have to do when you've already put your valuable information out there for the world to see you. and your prophecy is out there. Now they're starting to realize that that was Confederate, that was slowing people's process down for becoming, successful on YouTube, having to copy people, having to use thumbnails to catch people's attention and things like that. No, how about you expose my channel, since because the things that YouTube was doing, if you have 100 subscribers, they would match that and show it to another 100 to see if they would do it, to see if they would subscribe to your channel. But what if you had put some valuable information on there and someone's already got your ideas and you're not even monetized yet? And so it's almost like someone else who is monetized or who isn't yet have became famous off of your creative ideas, and you haven't even got paid, and you're still on the street homeless and don't have anything to do because you quit your job and became on YouTube and you tried to make a living. That was a Confederate. The fact that they offered to pay you for your video speaks volume. And it says that your information and your privacy is valuable to us. We are going to pay you for this video. So what if you put something a valuable information on a video and wasn't even subscribed and couldn't even get in no monetization and was not able to get any money, but that whole video, everything you say in that video was money. So YouTube has found a way, or had found a way to steal, because when you upload your video on YouTube, it uploads the video first for them, and then yours upload for you. So they've already gotten your information. So that's what I mean by now they're stripping out all of the Confederate laws and taking them out, not just for YouTube, but for everything. And Jesus is here right now to provide a better structure for people to live more healthier, more longer, more everything that has to deal with a godly structure. And I'm happy. I'm really happy. So we are the supernatural, like I was saying, and we're able to do so much more than what we were taught was limited. Um, going to work every day, a regular 9 to 5 job every day is not the supernatural. That's not living. Okay, that's not living. Um, but it's almost like how people are like, well, how can you're not living. You just go to work every day and you just do, you watch TV, and that's not living. I don't even watch TV. Um, but living is exploring and meeting new people and seeing how much of an influence you really are by being inspired by other people and having other people giving you ideas about yourself, about their business, about their visions, about what they can see you can do for yourself. And that's a way that you can actually enhance your own self. And I would definitely do that. So some people, they have a lot of power and a lot of um, characteristics and strength within them that they're able to inspire so many people and change a lot of people. But the old Confederate system had allowed them to just go to work every day and not really. And some people, you know, were trying to expose themselves by remaining on social media or doing a little bit of YouTube, but still trying to go to work. But what about you needing to put your whole, as much time as you put in your 9 to 5 job that's enslaving you and not paying you as much, that's as much time that you need to be putting in yourself as a whole person, okay? Because then the world will see half of you and not all of you, but you can benefit from so much if you put more investment within yourself, you know, or when you go to work every day, you get that money, you pay your bills, and you have something left over for yourself, then you're able to do something else with that money, like probably like invest in it, or invest in certain stocks, or invest in having a YouTube channel and talk about, you know, how you grew up, or talk about what you've learned from when you grew up, or talk about things that's going to allow other people to see your point of view, and then you can have an audience, and before you know it, you'll have a lot of subscribers. And you can be creative. You may not just be on there talking. You may just be on there to make someone laugh, or you may be on there to have some really good music to touch someone, or it could be anything, a slideshow, it could be anything. But we are the supernatural. So by having everything come down that were once Confederate is no more. And now we need to figure out and ask ourselves a question: what are we able to do now? What can we do now that the Confederate laws and the Confederate system is over with, and some of them are still coming up out of its box? Some of the things are now starting to come all out. They have no choice because Jesus is here. You know, um, so what else can we do? You know, there's Mount Rushmore. We might want to take that down and replace it with the people who have made the change and the difference, because Jesus is here and this is Revelations. The main people who made an impact on this world, everything that's Confederate is going to have to come down. You see, that rock of Mount Rushmore, very beautiful. It is. But we don't need a statue anymore for people to worship, because it's just going to be there. Now, someone else made a point on a YouTube video, and a couple of statuses, and they said, "What are we doing? That is Abraham Lincoln. That is George Washington. What are we doing? We are tearing down a part of history. Are you guys crazy?" But he didn't understand how he did not understand how much of an influence a statue could do for someone who's been worshiping it for all their life, or people who really, really idolize that as a symbolic routine for their own mental stage. And this is the reason why people were upset about Confederate statues coming down, because they felt as if it was something that was keeping honor for the ways of the world. But the ways of the world, people are sick and they aren't getting healthy, and they are not eating right, and they are not getting enough sleep, and they're at work and they're not knowing who they really are, and they're not making enough money, and they're poor, and they're paying taxes on money that they were promised that they would get. And then when they would be taxed, and and they were told that they would get their money back on the income taxes, and then that would be taxed, and it's just like, who created this slavery system? Why can't people just get paid for what they're good at doing? Why are they limited by going to school, spending 10 years when they were already skilled when they first got to college? But now everything else, like math, reading, science, everything that they done learned in high school and elementary school, they done graduated, they repeated the same elective courses in college again. And some people didn't even go to the major because that was stopping them. You see, and then just to watch people on television who didn't go to school, who are rich and famous, and they have found another way. But what about them? They want the same way. Well, can you tell me how to get there? Well, they had it more easier, you know. And why did they have it more easier? Because they found a way to, someone in their family, or they found a way to escape. But was it fair to anyone else, to the thousands of people who want the same lifestyle? No. Who's to blame for that? The Confederate system. The Confederate system. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. I'm going to finish eating what I put in the microwave. Take care.